Hello and welcome back to my channel. This is Liz and today we're going to be doing the February plan with me and setup of my 2021 bullet journal. This is a B5 size notebook by Archer & Olive. It has 160 GSM paper and the foil fox, and yeah, so we're going to jump in. Before we get started, I wanted to do a flip through of my January pages to show you guys my winter birch theme and the pages that I did there. I really enjoyed January. It was one of my favorite layouts that I've done, one of my favorite themes in the 18 months I've been bullet journaling. So I just kind of wanted to show you. I did a different weekly spread every week, and yeah, this again, just such a beautiful theme, and I really enjoyed making it. That's the week we're in now, and that's my layout for next week. This page here, I did a video and uploaded it to my channel. So yeah, that's there, but this will be my second ever YouTube video, and it is a full setup, so it'll be interesting to see how long it's going to take to create. This month's theme is a self-care, self-love, mental health theme, so I'm going to have different spa herbs, I guess. There's lavender and eucalyptus and sage and dandelion in there, so here we go. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so I'm starting out with my Faber-Castell Pitt Artist pen in an extra small size, which I think is like a 0.05 nib, so just a really thin line to draw the stems of these plants. One thing that I noticed when deciding to do this spa scented herb theme was that eucalyptus has both long and round leaves, and sage has both round and long leaves. So kind of deciding which ones to go with to make them not look like the same plant, since they are related, was a bit of a challenge. So I decided to do long leaf sage, which you see in the top left there, and short leaf or round leaf eucalyptus, which you see in the bottom right. And then I took my helix circle stencil and made a 2-inch circle around the February header, which I then kind of drew secondary lines so that it wasn't like an individual stem of each of these plants, but that there would be some more depth and dimension there. So I'm writing in February, and anything that requires a slightly thicker line, I am using a Staedtler fineliner, which I think is something equal to like a 0.07, so it's only slightly thicker. I could be wrong about the size of that. They're not actually labeled, but that's just the, it's similar to pens that I've purchased in a 0.07 or 0.08, so it's somewhere around there. But yeah, so I go in and I'm just kind of doing the black line work at this point, and then taking my Tombow Duo brush pens. I used 5 different colors this time. There's a yellow that I use for the color of the dandelion flowers, and then there's 3 different greens that I use. I believe they were 192, 158, and 177 for Tombow, and then I also use a 603 as the lilac color, which you should see me doing here in just a moment. And I just kind of did these little like brushes with the brush tip, which gave it this kind of abstract feel, unlike like actual lavender flowers, which I don't have the time to draw like perfectly. Again, not an artist, you guys, just kind of doing my own interpretations of these things. But yeah, I realized pretty quickly into this process that I was not paying the utmost attention to which green I was using for which plants, and so I kind of go back and forth. I was struggling with lighting a little bit. I definitely need a secondary light source for these videos. I got a brighter lamp because it was too dark last time when I was recording the weekly setup, but the bright lamp needed to be on the right hand side, and it was just causing shadow issues, and I was struggling to see what I was doing and just getting frustrated with the lighting, so I wasn't paying enough attention. But I'm going in and I'm kind of just doing little circle motions to get the round leaves for the eucalyptus leaves. I don't know where that came from. To get the round leaves for the eucalyptus. And I'll go back in afterwards and kind of outline the sage leaves, but I leave the lavender, the dandelion, and the eucalyptus kind of not outlined to give it a more natural look. I just wanted some more definition on the sage. Actually pleasantly surprised with the color of the dandelion flowers as I was doing them. Just a couple of layers of that yellow of the tombow, which is I believe number 991. It's actually the pastel orange from the pastel palette, but it just made like this really soft kind of golden yellow, which I thought was kind of perfect for the drying dandelion flowers. I wanted to do a self-care, self-love theme for February. I know there's a ton of Valentine's Day themes out there in previous years. It does seem like this year the trend is leaning towards self-care and non-Valentine's themes. So it looks like others kind of had the same thought that I did, that there's plenty of hearts and bows and pink out there for February. So I wanted to do something a little bit more natural, and I have been, struggling a lot lately with anxiety and with negative self-talk and, doubts and things like that. And for 2021, I wanted my word of the year to be confidence, not necessarily just like outward confidence, but kind of self-assurance and confidence in myself, to believe that I can do the things that I want to do. And so along those lines, I really wanted to focus February to be a self-care, self-love, positive self-talk theme to share with you guys. And I was practicing some of that confidence here as I was getting flustered by the greens of the dandelion leaves, which in and of themselves were a bother to draw, but eventually kind of got the general pattern down, and I'm happy with how they turned out in the end, which sometimes is the only, message we kind of really need, is just keep going. If it doesn't look like it's going to be exactly what you want, just kind of keep pushing through and take a step back, reevaluate when it's done, and if you want to add something to it, then add something to it, and you may just end up kind of really happy with how it turned out. And that's kind of the motto of this page. I really wasn't confident in the beginning with how it was going to turn out. I didn't know if I should add more doodles, if I should do less and go more simplistic, or if I should do, just one of these herbs instead of all of them. I keep calling them herbs. They're just plants. I don't know. Is lavender an herb? I'm not sure. Anyway, I digress. Again, I thought maybe I should add some plants on this quote page, which the quote says, "Self-care isn't selfish, it's necessary," which I 100% am getting on board with. I think we all kind of live lives where we feel like if we take time for ourselves, or if we say no, or if we don't spend as much time as possible with our kids or our partners, that we are somehow not doing what we're supposed to be doing. But in all honesty, if you're not taking care of yourself and if you're not giving yourself what you need, then you cannot actually give anything to anyone else. So we, myself included, need to make the time to take care of ourselves. So what I do here is I just write out the quote and then I underline the word necessary, because that's the part I tend to forget. It's great if you have time, but no, we really all should be making time to take care of ourselves so that we can take care of what we need to. So moving on to the calendar spread, I quickly write out the word February in just this kind of basic, almost serif font. And then I opted to not do the full boxes for the calendar days, but just kind of like the top lines for each week. One thing that just really pleases me aesthetically about February of 2021 is that it is 28 days and starts on a Monday. So it's just so perfect for a bullet journal setup that starts their weeks on Monday, because it's just 4 lines and it was wonderful to do and it made me very happy. So as far as illustration goes on this page, I just kind of do a really cute little dandelion flower that is not drying, but that is growing out of the ground. And you see me doing some reference checks to the previous page just to make sure I'm doing it right, even though I already sketched it in. So I'm not somebody who typically does monthly goals. I have yearly goals, and I've kind of already broken those down in my mind into like monthly segments. So I don't actually do like a goals section or an events section. I use the actual calendar itself to write in important dates like, meetings at work, or new projects beginning, or deadlines, or, payday, the days that bills are due, things like that. So I kind of combine this one large calendar into all of my events, because it helps me to have just that visual representation of when things are going to come up and when things are going to be done, and just an overview of how busy my month looks. And I alternate the 158 and the 192 greens for the weekly headers, I guess, the weekly highlights, and then go in with, again, the Faber Castell Pitt marker to write in the days of the month. So the quote that I decided to do on this page says, "Believe in the magic of you." And I was just kind of scrolling through Google Images for photos of dandelions for inspiration, and there was one that said, "Believe in the magic," and it had like a half-blown dandelion with all the little seeds kind of floating away. And I thought that tied in really nicely when we're kids and we make a wish and try to blow off all of the little seeds of the dandelion. And that ties in really nicely to self-care if you add in the of you. So believe in the magic of you. And yeah, so I'm really kind of happy with how these little seeds turned out. One thing that I had not sketched out and I hadn't intended to do, which I'm getting ready to do here in just a moment, is I draw all the little kind of stem lines around the dandelion. And then I go in and I make all these little like X's, these little hash marks, as if they're still seeds around the dandelion, which I think kind of give it some life and some dimension, I guess. One of those words I enjoy saying a lot. I guess it makes sense because it's art, so it adds dimension to the flowers for me and makes it look just a little bit more alive. On to my habit and mood tracker. I'm just doing 9 boxes to track different things. I track pretty much just basic things that I tend to forget that are all kind of related to self-care. I track if I'm eating healthy, if I'm drinking enough water, if I'm reading, if I'm connecting to my loved ones, if I'm making those phone calls, and I just kind of track when I do those things. One of the things that I did in January is I set up a little box for tracking my weight weekly. I don't weigh myself daily. I don't recommend it. That is not self-care, but I do weigh in once a week as a check-in with my goals because I do want to lose a bit of weight and be slightly healthier this year. So one of these boxes you'll see will just have like the horizontal lines and not the full boxes for checking my weight weekly rather than a daily habit tracker. For my mood tracker, I drew 3 stems for lavender, and depending on my mood each day, I will go in and draw a little bit of the flower. So like 4 little brush strokes would be a great day. 2 on the left and 1 on the right is an okay day. 2 on the right and 1 on the left is a good day. And then if I'm only doing 1 on either side, then that was not a great day. Maybe I was sad, or maybe I was struggling with the self-talk, or maybe I just felt a lot of anxiety, but all of that will go into what we call the bad days. So normally, I know a lot of people do like 2 lines a day or a line a day or just kind of a gratitude log. And I wanted to adapt that for self-love by doing a compliment log. So compliment yourself. I'm going to write down something every day that I like about myself or something that I did that I'm proud of that particular day as a way to practice, positive self-talk. guys, I cannot stress enough how important positive self-talk is. Like I mentioned earlier, I deal a lot with negative self-talk and with those kind of intrusive thoughts of, you know, if you make a mistake, then there's something wrong with you, or you're not good enough, or you can't accomplish something, and really kind of have been working on shifting, that negative self-talk. Instead of saying, I can't do it because something doesn't turn out the way you want it to, saying something like, I don't like how that turned out, which takes it away from your responsibility and just kind of makes it more of a matter of opinion. The quote I use on this compliment log is, be careful how you're talking to yourself, you're listening. And that is so true. We can hear other people say negative things about us and maybe not internalize it as much. But when it's your own voice in your head that you can't get away from that is saying negative things, then that can affect your behavior, it can affect your emotions, it can affect your relationships. So kind of just practicing being nice to myself so that it becomes easier to be nice to others, and also to be more comfortable when others are nice to you. If you're telling yourself, bad things all the time, and then somebody gives you a compliment, then you're going to be awkward and not believe them. But if you're also nice to yourself, then it's easier to just be like, thanks, I know, without coming across as sarcastic or anything like that. As a final touch, I'm calling this the lavender page because the mood tracker is lavender, and then I also take the purple Tombow and I highlight every other line for the compliment tracker in purple. I debated here for a moment if I wanted to alternate on which ones were highlighted, and I decided not to, and I decided to add in yellow as well, because purple and yellow, as you guys may know, are complementary colors, so they look really great together. Then what you see me doing here is I noticed that the pen that I was using was smearing when I was doing the yellow highlighter, so I stopped highlighting the number and just started with the box after, which may bug me enough to fix later, but I'm leaving it for now. Moving on to the final page I'll be setting up in this video. This is a page called Self-Care Bingo. So I got this idea from Pinterest. There's a lot of quarantine bingo and stay-at-home bingo, and you get the idea. There's tons of things out there that you can do, and I really wanted to do like a self-care checklist of things. And then rather than doing just a checklist like here's all the things you have to do this month in order to tick this box, I decided to make it a little bit more fun and less obligatory by creating this bingo card. I don't try to make anything super neat here. I did use a ruler when I did the boxes originally, but I just kind of freehand with my pen along those boxes here. When I fill in the squares with things like take a bath versus a shower, or take a really long shower, or watch your favorite movie, eat your favorite food, make comfort food, stay in your pajamas all day, all these things that you can kind of just do that bring you comfort or make you happy. Read a book, write in your journal, play video games for hours if that's what you want to do. Just write a bunch of things that make you happy, that you feel like maybe you don't put enough effort into doing regularly, and I just write them in these boxes. I don't try to use any fancy font or draw any pictures. I just wanted to get them down and have them legible, basically. My handwriting, when I'm not trying to make it look nice, is actually quite awful, as you can start to see as I fill in these boxes. The idea here for this game is that if I complete one of these things, I will color in the square with the Tombow brush pen that I used for the letter at the top, which is a, I don't know, what's the color definition of like a palindrome? I use the same color for the B and the O, and the same color for the I and the G, and then one color for the N. So it goes like A, B, C, B, A. I don't know if that makes any sense to you guys. But the idea is that I will color in the squares with that color as I complete these tasks. The other alternative is maybe I want to do many of these things more than once. You know, maybe I want to try to get a bingo each week, something like that. So I haven't quite worked out all the details as I kind of made this up on the spot, but I will be sure to share how that's going in my next setup video. You guys will see kind of where I'm at with this bingo thing. I'll take a moment here to talk about my nails once again. These are Color Street nails from my friend Lainey in Washington State, and I got an accessory pack with this really pretty rose gold glitter, which is called Tokyo Lights, and then I had this deep hunter green, which is called Would You Rather, spelled like W-O-O-D, which is this dark green solid color. And so I used the accessory color, the Tokyo Lights, on my ring fingers, and then the Would You Rather on all the others. And yeah, so again, I'll have a link to that in the description box as well. So the final page I'm doing is the brain dump page. I like having a brain dump page. At the very least, I used about half of my January brain dump to consider different theme ideas for February. I thought of honeybees, I thought of Mardi Gras, I thought of a Snoopy Valentine. I knew I didn't want to do something super feminine and girly. It just didn't go with my personality. I know this seems pretty feminine and girly in terms of this spa thing, but I mean, I don't do like hearts and I don't do bows and things like that. So I was thinking of different things I could do, like Mardi Gras, or did I want to do like some kind of vintage Valentines, you know, with craft paper and things like that. And there are so many Valentine's Day themed videos out there that I wanted to do something different. But yeah, I used half of my brain dump in January, kind of doodle testing and coming up with ideas for February. I did not actually sketch in these flowers. This is all kind of done freehand because I decided that the brain dump page looked entirely too blank, especially with the bingo page also being very simple. So I added in freehand a longleaf sage in the top left corner, some lavender stalks in the lower right, and a fully bloomed and a not fully bloomed dandelion. I don't know the scientific terms for what these look like at these stages, but yeah, the yellow flower and then the one that you can blow the seeds off of. And yeah. And there it is, finished. My February 2021 self-care, self-love, mental health theme. Again, the cover page and the calendar, habit and mood trackers, a daily log of compliments, self-care bingo, and brain dump. Altogether, it took me about an hour and a half to create all of these pages, and yeah, that is it. I'm actually really happy. There were some bumps in the road there where I wasn't sure how it was going to turn out, but in the end, I am extremely happy, and it just feels very peaceful and serene and organic. And I can't wait to start the weekly spreads and get those uploaded for you as well. Again, this is Liz. Thank you so much for enjoying this video. If you've made it this far, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel and enable notifications, like this video, and I will have another video up soon, the weekly setup, which I will be filming in the next couple of days. Stay safe, everyone, and until next time, bye.